and then before you begin, lay out the parts that you're going to need for replacing the rewind shock cord and the drive cord on one side of your erg. So you'll need one drive cord, one rewind shock cord, a Phillips head screwdriver, one of the black clips with the parts that come, and look for the white foam block that you're going to use once you start doing the assembly. Okay. While holding the drive cord in one hand, start to wind the drive cord onto the white drive spool. Make sure that the drive cord is oriented away from you. As you wind it onto the drive spool, hold tension with your left hand with the loose cord and wind the drive cord onto the drive spool with your other hand as shown. Wind it all the way until the black plastic clip on the end is snug against the idler pulley on the other side. And once you have it fully wound up, jam the white foam piece between the drive spool with the cord wound around it and the black housing. Now put the foam piece in. That will hold the drive spool and drive cord in place for the next step, which is replacing the rewind shock cord. Now we're going to replace the rewind shock cord on one side. The first step you got to do is tie a knot in one end of the shock cord. Just a simple granny knot is all you need. Leave about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch sticking out at the end of the knot. Now you're going to grab the other end of the shock cord, and that's what you're going to thread through the hole in the upper rewind bracket. It's the hole toward the back. Thread it through and pull your shock cord all the way through. Now you're ready to start winding around the pulleys. Make sure the shock cord goes behind the drive shaft and the drive spool, and you're going to go to the lower pulley bracket, the furthest pulley back away from you. And then you go up to the upper one, furthest pulley away from you, and then go back down to the lower bracket, to the next pulley, the next one toward you, and at the top, the next one toward you, and just keep working your way until the shock cord goes over all 4 pulleys on both upper and lower brackets. And it's okay to pull the shock cord and create some tension on it. Just make sure you're holding on to the shock cord securely as you do this. This is what it should look like on the upper bracket. And it looks the same on the lower bracket. So it's going over all four. Let me see if I can get in there. That's all four brackets like that. I mean, all four pulleys. Now you're holding on to the loose end. You've gone over the single pulley. Now we're going to take it into the flange of the drive spool. There's a hole in this flange. But before we do that, we have to wrap it around the drive spool 2 or 3 wraps. And then we'll put the end through the hole in the drive spool and tie it off. Make sure that as you wrap the shock cord, now you're wrapping it over the front of the drive spool, or the surface of the drive spool closest to you, as he's showing. And now we're going to pull out the white foam wedge, so that you can move the drive spool a little bit and find the hole in the flange of the drive spool. There's the hole, and he's going to thread that. You can put the wedge back if you want. Then he's going to thread the end of that shock cord through the hole in the flange. Pull it tight. Now tie, bring the end right in there. Tie the a little knot in the end. And you can leave about a 1/2 inch of shock cord sticking out past the knot, but just make sure the knot is very secure. And now we're gonna just slowly feed that shock cord back in, and with tension on the shock cord, it will just find its way through as you push it through the flange. Now remove the white foam piece and go over to the other side and pull the drive cord all the way out until it can't go anymore. Pull it all the way out, and now let it rewind, and your drive cord and your rewind cord will be tight, and you're ready to go to the next side. Now we're going to replace the drive cord on the other side, which is the black drive spool. Just make sure you have the new rewind shock cord, the new drive cord, your tools, and also the other black plastic clip laid out as shown before you start this job. Start by inserting the loose end of the drive cord into the flange of the drive spool. And you thread this from the outside going toward the inside of the machine. Once it's through, pull the drive cord all the way through. And now take that loose end and you're going to thread it up through the rear cover, and then through the idler pulley on the other side. Make sure that it goes between the pulley and the little black binder post. Now we're going to assemble the plastic hook on the end. And you'll need your Phillips head screwdriver to tighten the little metal screw there. Make sure you secure that very well. You can check the other side to make sure the threads are coming through the nut pretty far on the other side. Now, holding the drive cord in one hand, you're going to wind the drive spool as shown, making sure that the drive cord going vertically out the machine is on the opposite side of you on the drive spool. And it's better to hold tension on the drive cord with one hand while you wind the drive spool with the other hand as shown. Once you have that tight, take the foam piece and jam it down between the rear cover and the drive spool. That just will prevent the drive cord from unwinding while you replace the rewind shock cord. The next step is to replace the rewind shock cord on the right side with the black spool. Before you start, take one of the ends of the rewind shock cord and tie a granny knot in the end. And just pull that securely. It's okay if there's about a ½ an inch or so of shock cord showing out from the end of the knot. Then take the other end, the loose end, and you're going to put it right up through the hole in the upper bracket and pull the shock cord all the way through until it hits the knot. To wind the rewind shock cord, push it on the opposite side of the drive shaft and drive spool, and then you're going to wind around the lower rewind bracket in a clockwise direction. And put the shock cord on the pulley furthest away from you on the lower stack, and then furthest away from you on the upper stack. And winding clockwise around the entire pulley stacks, you're going to just go one pulley at a time. Notice that as you wind on the upper pulley stack, you have to go behind the small pulley until you've wrapped around all of the pulleys in the stack. Once you've wrapped around all the stacks, now we have to wrap the rewind cord around the front side of the drive spool, and we're going to wrap 2 to 3 wraps in the threads on the drive spool as shown. Once you've done all the wraps, then you have to take the end of the shock cord and push it through the hole that's in the flange on the black drive spool. And pull it all the way through. Now on the end of the shock cord, you're going to tie another knot. Just a granny knot is all you need. Leave about a ½ inch of shock cord up the end. And then all you have to do is just feed the shock cord back through that hole in the flange. The tension on the shock cord will pull it through until the knot touches the outside of the flange. Push it all the way through until the knot touches. Then you can remove the white foam piece. And next, what I want you to do is pull the drive cord all the way until the very end. This will reset the shock cord and the drive cord. And now release it slowly. Now we're going to put the front cover back on the erg. Thread the 4 bolts into the corners. Don't tighten the corners all the way. Wait until you get the screw threaded partially and then go to the other corners because you have to line everything up. And the job is complete.